live from Sin City, it's the Socks and Pinstripes Podcast. And now, here's the star of the show, Diet Dr. Griffin!
This is Diet Dr. Griffin back with another episode of the Socks and Pinstripes Podcast. Like, rate, and subscribe. We got a very special episode for you today because we got some alarming news this week. Shane's nemesis in the Seattle Mariners organization, Jerry DiPoto, was not fired this week and was going to have a nice winter where he gets to keep his job. And Shane's not very happy about that, and we need to do our best today to make sure that we can get him on the right path because it's going to be a long, long off season if he's cranky and miserable the whole time.
I'm just going to be cranky and miserable the whole time, and I've just zened about having to deal with it, honestly. So I hope you're happy, Jerry. I hope you're happy.
Well, I mean, I did read some articles this week that were saying the Braves feel like they're taking an L on the Jared Kelenic trade here. So
yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunate too because he just had so much upsided potential to be so good, and honestly, it might have been the Mariners organization that did him wrong. I'm looking at an interview that someone did with J.P. Crawford, and he said, and I quote, "Collectively, over the last couple months, we were going in with a plan that was way too complicated. These last couple weeks, we've simplified everything, just getting back to trusting yourself, trusting your hands, and just see ball, hit ball type mentality." So I don't know if the way complicated was Jerry DiPoto or the way complicated was Scott Service, but I guess we're going to find out. So
I remember when Nick Sirianni, I believe the current Philadelphia Eagles head coach, was doing his introductory press conference. He kept making a big deal about how everything was like way too complicated and we're just going to simplify everything down and just do it really well.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, baseball isn't as complicated as football in the sense that you don't really have to remember plays and stuff. You just kind of have to know pitcher tendencies and reading. It's a different set of complicated, I guess. It's the way that it goes.
Yeah, I mean, and then if we just take last night's game for an example, Logan Gilbert's velocity, they trot him out in the 8th inning, fine, he can do it most of the time. His velocity is 3 miles an hour down from what it normally is, and you're leaving the guy, like, do you want him to get hurt? Like, that's your best pitcher. You're 4.5 games out.
I don't understand
like, what is the reasoning behind that? Like, I'm just like, oh my God, Jerry. So then you have this other rando guy, and he's trying to break Logan Gilbert, for the rest of the season. It's like, Jerry, come on, dude.
Isn't this the same stuff Kirby was complaining about last year?
Yeah, when he was like, it's whoever the Mariners' best pitcher is, they just literally try to injure them with how much they ask them to play. And they're not going to say no because they're professional athletes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then on top of all this, Scott Service found out from an alert on his phone from a tweet from Ken Rosenthal 90 minutes before he was due to meet with Jerry DiPoto to be fired. It's like, Jerry, you can't even close your mouth long enough to fire a guy properly who's been with you for 9 years.
Yeah, I've never
they're not announcing Jerry's contract extension because they know we're going to riot. I hope that he is ready for the winter press conference, that he is just absolutely going to get roasted, and for good reason.
Do you guys have a fan base type gathering? Like, I know the Red Sox would have like a winter fest every year, and they kind of like backed out of the upper management side of it, after this past season where they kind of said they were going to go full throttle and then they kind of just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Full throttle.
You guys are half the game ahead of us. So, I mean, you guys did nothing and you're still playing better baseball than we are.
Well,
so.
I mean, we basically overhauled our front office with Craig and Andrew Bailey and our pitching staff, and just they went and just completely shifted the pitching strategy because they really didn't do anything
Yeah.
else in terms of like
Yeah.
roster personnel. I think our
Yeah.
big free agent signing besides Giolito was Cooper Criswell for $1 million. He's
Yeah.
actually been like a player they've counted on this year to make a significant number of starts. I mean,
Yeah.
he could have had Chris Sale, and he's likely to win the NL Cy Young the way he's pitching. I think he's trying to get the NL pitching triple crown.
Yeah. I mean, he might get there. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody besides Wheeler would even be competition. And I think Sale's just been far and away the best pitcher in the NL this year.
just untouchable. And he gets that outside call on his slider a lot too, which is good.
Yeah. And Red Sox, of course, are paying for his salary, paying that,
Yeah,
paying
nothing
to
like
have
free
him.
pitching. That's always the best price to pay for
And,
pitching in
and
the
Vaughn
MLB.
and Vaughn Grissom, didn't hasn't amounted to much this year. I mean, he can still have good years down the road, but
Yeah.
this year is not looking good for the Sox in that move. So
Yeah.
back to you guys. Back to you guys. This is therapy. Shane's therapy session for today. So
I mean, and I guess the problem must start with the chair, John Stanton, who DiPoto always says there's not enough money to go, or DiPoto won't say that there's not enough money, but it's almost like he does have to make trades with one hand behind his back, since the team's payroll this year is 147.5 million. 16th in MLB this season. I don't know where the payrolls of the other teams are that are making the playoffs, but I guarantee they're higher. I know that Houston, just taking our own division, they're up against the luxury tax with their payroll.
I don't
And they're
think Baltimore is, but they're kind of in a weird situation where so much of their talent is young.
yeah.
I can kind of pull up the payrolls if you give me a second here, kind of see
Yeah. No, I
where
can keep
teams
talking and then
are.
while you pull it up. So we
Amazingly,
were
the Mets have the highest payroll, and somehow they're in there. Like we all thought
yeah.
the Mets this year were going to do nothing, and the Mets are currently in the wild card, holding the last wild card spot, and the Atlanta Braves are not in the playoffs right now. Atlanta
Yeah, he
Braves
got
have the
game
fourth highest
behind.
payroll.
Oh, geez. Okay. So
Let's see the Giants and the Rangers. Cubs and Blue Jays all have top 10 payrolls, and they are all missing the playoffs right now.
that's true.
Let's see. So you were talking like middle of the pack, basically.
Yeah, where the Mariners are 16th. I mean, it's up from 21st in 2022, but
Yeah,
it's
I
like
mean,
we keep spending more money, and now we're missing the playoffs while spending more.
I'm
So it's
looking
like,
at I'm at Spot Track right now just for my numbers. It has the Mariners actually at 17th,
okay,
and right behind them at 18th is the Twinkies, and
oh, nice.
they're
All
in.
right,
The Royals are
yeah,
right behind them.
they're in.
And we're talking like $2 million basically between these three teams here. And
Yeah, yeah,
the Brewers are right behind them
yeah.
at 158 million, and the Guardians are at 140.
So it can be done, and I'm not saying that like you have to go out. I'm not asking the organization to go out and spend all this money, but I mean, Matt, or I forget what his first name is, but Vorel in the Seattle Times wrote about Jerry DiPoto. It is difficult to identify what he's done to earn another opportunity.
And Baltimore sitting there further back at 23rd with
Yeah,
133
and
million.
I like the trades that Jerry made this year. Not the offseason trades, because he did nothing in the offseason. He just like moved people to look busy, is how I feel about the last two off seasons. But I like the acquisition of Randy Arozarena and Justin Turner. I think that was good. He should have done that 2 years ago after making the playoffs for the first time. And, I forget however many years it was, 23 years or something like that. And so
Yeah.
instead, he's just been making trades to make the team. He's been making trades and spending more money to make the team worse. And obviously, service was going to have to fall on the sword. But it's just, I don't understand why Stanton wouldn't just get rid of both of them and start over, because it's obvious that you have your core players. You have an underperforming Julio Rodriguez, a JP Crawford who just, can't keep his mouth shut about whatever's going on in the clubhouse, which is great for us because now we get to understand what's actually happening in there, but bad for team chemistry, I would imagine.
What do they
It's like
think about the Julio's contract? Because that was a Jerry signing. And I
yeah,
mean, that's like one of the biggest players on your team there.
so this is how I felt personally. I was excited. He's a hot young player. You want to lock something like that down. And, given everything that he did his rookie season, I think he made the right call. I think surrounding him with players who will help him succeed and not expecting him to be the guy is what Julio needs right now. Because even Ken Griffey Jr. had, one of the best DHs in history. They've always had great pitching, but there was a lot of offense around Junior when they
Yeah.
were winning all
Yeah, they
those
had Edgar
games. And
Martinez and Brett
yeah,
Boone, and I think
and
Ichiro came in after he left, but
but he didn't have to win the game every time. And a lot of times he would just get on base and Edgar Martinez would hit him in. So, and the Mariners are expecting Julio to do everything, get on base, score, hit people in. And I just don't think he's ready for that kind of pressure yet, because he is a hard work. To his credit, he's a hard worker. He puts in the work, but I think he pressures himself so much to succeed, which is why you just see just like he might as well just be up there with a sleeping mask on, just swinging the bat wildly sometimes. So
yeah, there's some. I was having an argument with a guy on Facebook about Joey Votto and how this guy thinks Joey Votto isn't a Hall of Famer, which I think
yeah,
is a total joke because
yeah, I
Votto's
call
got like
bull on that too. So
a 920 career OPS, and he thinks just because he got on base a lot, he didn't help his team. And I'm like, runs and RBI are a byproduct of the talent around you, and the
yeah,
Reds had no talent around him. They had like Ken Griffey Jr. at the end when he was injured, and maybe Adam Dunn for a little bit,
yeah,
but not a whole lot during Votto's time.
yeah. Yeah,
And
it's just tough. I mean, you need RBIs to win games, so that's how the games are won. So
yeah, I mean, Judge is having the year that he's having in large part because Soto's sitting there right behind him and doing the same thing, but nobody else in that Yankees lineup is doing anything.
yeah, and man, it sure is fun to watch. I mean, as much as I am not a Yankees fan, it is fun to watch those two play because they really do seem to love playing together. So
Do you guys have any prospects, any hitting prospects in your minor league system that you're aware of that could be called up that could help out?
this year, no. Next year, there's a. I don't know if they traded him away. There's a catcher and an outfielder who they held on to, which just makes me nervous about whether Cal is going to stay or not. I know he doesn't want to be here anymore,
Mhm.
and who can really blame him? But yeah, as far as I don't know their names, but there's a catcher and an outfielder that we didn't get rid of that are pretty good. So we'll see if they get the call next year or not. But I wouldn't honestly right now. I don't want to give up, but it's September 8th. There's not that many games left.
There's like 3 weeks left.
Yeah. I don't want to punt on this season, but it's mathematically very improbable that we will end up making the playoffs. And so my kind of mentality is just let people finish out this season. You effed up again, but at least the fans are used to it. Hold on to Randy, build Randy land in left field for Randy since he's going to be here. Since he's going to be here for a while. I mean, I wouldn't even mind them holding on to Justin Turner.
Well,
Because
Turner, I think, is a free agent after the season.
yeah, if Turner wants to stay for not that much money, I would keep him. I know he's older, but he's a good veteran presence, and I think Julio needs kind of that. We need people who have won before on our team, and we have a lot of good players, but no one who's actually won anything. So just going to the playoffs is fun and all, and having the largest comeback in MLB history in a playoff game is also a fun stat. But that's not really winning anything, and you still can't beat the Houston Astros this year. Are going to win the division unless something crazy happens, and they did it with AAA pitching. You have the best pitching staff in Major League Baseball from a lot of other people's opinion outside the Mariners organization, and you can't get it done. It was just
I mean,
crazy.
they got a lot of they
You
got a
only have
lot
to
of
score 3 runs a game. That's all. That's all you have to score on average because your pitching staff is that great, and you couldn't even do that for most of the year.
So speaking of, let's shift gears a little bit here.
I feel better, by the way. So this was
Yeah.
good. I vented, and we can move on. So
All right. So the Chicago White Sox, speaking of teams that can't really score much this year, you've got
that'd be an understatement.
yeah. There was a photo that I saw someone post, and it was basically saying that Zach Greinke had a career slugging percentage of 366. As
Yeah.
the White Sox have a slugging percentage of 368. So they're basically the White Sox are hitting as well as a team as Zach Greinke.
as an
Zach,
entire
and
team,
if you had a team of all
Zach
Zach Greinke's, you would probably have a better team than the current White Sox.
The current, which is crazy because in 2021 they won the division by 13 games and looked like they were going to beat the Astros, but then just
they had something going, and then they brought in my boy Tony La Russa.
Tony,
and I don't want to blame Tony for this, but everything just seemed to go down the toilet after that, and it's just been a unrecoverable spiral for them. I mean, they're on pace to set the modern record for losses, like teams since 1900. They're going to probably lose. They are currently 32 and 111. And the only thing that is their saving grace for not having the worst record in history is that the Cleveland Spiders in 1899 lost 134 games, and it is mathematically impossible for them to lose more than 130.
Cleveland Spiders, and what a great name that is.
Yeah, I mean, Spiders is a good name for a team they should bring back. Somebody should, if they have a team in any major sport, bring back Spiders.
Yeah, bring back Spider. I agree. Bring back.
If New Mexico gets a team, if Albuquerque gets a team, the Albuquerque Tarantulas.
Oh yeah, dude. Isn't there a minor league team called the Tarantulas already? I'm pretty sure.
There could be.
Yeah. I think it is some desert town too. So, but
I know that I have picked the Richmond Spiders in an NCAA bracket on an occasion because of the name of the Spiders.
I mean, why would you not? It'd be hard to avoid that. So.
Yeah,
they're 44 and a half games behind the Cleveland Guardians today. So,
and the craziest thing is because of the new CBA and the whole draft system, the White Sox are going to be drafting 10th. They can't draft any higher than that because they've been in the lottery the last 2 years. So they're having the worst season in MLB history, and they're not going to draft anywhere in the anything higher than 10th. You just want to rub salt on a wound there.
Yeah. Oh man.
Well, hey, at least you got one thing to look forward to here because you are presently winning against one of our good friends, Jeff.
I cannot believe that. I'm still just
there's still one to go in a lot of close categories, but at the year up currently 11-7 as I'm writing that, as we're talking here.
Yeah,
really, really impressive.
Yeah, catch me last week and I would have been like, yeah, right, that's going to happen. So,
well, if you win, it's going to be an awkward recording session next weekend because we will be facing each other
That'll be
One
perfect.
versus six in the playoffs if you manage to win today. So
If it
no,
makes you feel any
we're all rooting
better,
for
I
you.
didn't. Yeah, if it makes you feel any better, I didn't even expect to be in the playoffs this year from just how bad the last 3 weeks was.
Well, you nearly missed the playoffs, actually.
That's what I'm saying. So like for me, every single game is just it's extra fun baseball that I get to play that I didn't think I was going to play. So that's how I'm treating this playoffs. So
Just so the people in the audience know, the team that was behind you was a half a game back, and that team did not change their lineup or make a single move the entire season.
yeah.
It's even
Yeah.
crazier that
Yeah.
that team got that
Yeah.
close. I think some of the reason that team did really well is because they had Bobby Witt
Oh yeah. That's right.
and
That was the guy who got Bobby Witt Jr. What a grab.
I got Bobby Witt and Tarek Skubal.
Oh geez. So he's got the Cy Young and or not the Cy Young, but
Well, Skubal will probably be the American League Cy Young Award winner, and
yeah.
obviously Bobby Witt's having a phenomenal season. And any normal year, he would definitely be in the running for MVP.
Yeah, I don't think I wound up just the way that it worked out. I didn't get any top 10 players on my team, like having Randy Arozarena last year just run wild across the stat categories. So,
I didn't even consider picking Bobby Witt, and I could have had him, and that's not looking like a good move on my part. But
me too. I mean, the same thing. I picked Ellie De La Cruz, and now he's not even stealing bases. And I could have picked. I had the opportunity to pick Bobby Witt Jr. and I passed on him. So
I
shame
picked
on me, I guess. So
yeah, I picked Corbin Carroll, and only in recent weeks has that looked like a decent pick because Carroll's been
yeah,
having a phenomenal second half.
yeah, he finally just when I think you can't do anything more stupid, Lloyd, you go and totally redeem yourself. That's how I feel about Corbin Carroll this season.
Yeah. Yeah, the Diamondbacks have been having a great second half. They're looking like a fun team to watch in the playoffs, as are the Padres. I mean,
Yeah,
the NL
I'm so
playoffs.
happy that they're in it because they're my dark horse to win the series. I've been saying this since the Midsummer Classic. So
Oh, the Padres. Yeah, I had a sneaking feeling the Padres would make the playoffs this year because they had a lot of bad luck last year with the way that just all the numbers broke out, like the way they scored runs and gave up runs. Like they
yeah,
just got really had some bad luck in just how the stats kind of distributed themselves and the games kind of went. But this year it's kind of riding the ship here. I think Luis Rise has only struck out twice since the All-Star break.
that's just. I mean, that guy's on another level. I mean, there's no power, but still, he's on another level when it comes to making contact with the baseball. So
Yeah, he's gonna be, I believe, a free agent after the season, and I'm sure somebody's gonna
honestly,
add
if
him.
Jerry, I would applaud Jerry if he'd go after it. He's probably going to be too expensive for Jerry
I
to
don't
look
know
at.
though.
But
I mean, a guy who only hits like singles though. I mean, how expensive can the guy really be?
yeah, that's true. And that's what we need is just put him at, I know he bats leadoff, put him at 4. So then when the bases are loaded, the 3 times in a game they get loaded, at least someone hits a single, you get 2 runs to score. So
That's
that was the frustrating part last year. Logan Gilbert's throwing a shutout yesterday. Logan Gilbert's throwing a shutout game. They load the bases 3 times, and Julio rolls over one of them. Turner strikes out. You know, they're swinging at that low splitter again. They're starting to swing at that pitch again as a team.
yeah.
Oh, man, yeah, it was tough to watch, but whatever.
So the Yankees have had some interesting stuff happen to them this year. Alex Verdugo. Did you hear about Alex Verdugo and his allergies to batting gloves and tattoos?
So I didn't know about the tattoos, but you shared with me the batting gloves thing, and it's just so to me this is so ridiculous, and it almost seems like he's doing because he started off so hot. I mean, Aaron Boone got thrown out of a game for arguing balls and strikes on his behalf, and now he's starting to play a little bit better. But I think he's just starting to make stuff up to keep his job. So
Well, I mean, Verdugo's a guy who's going to be a free agent after the season, and his performance is kind of causing some frustration within the Yankees fan base because the fan base wants Jason Dominguez to come up,
yeah,
and they picked another outfielder in the system to bring up in early September. And the Yankees fans just can't seem to wrap their heads around like how cheap Hal is
yeah,
as an owner. And the thing is that the Yankees currently have one of the highest payrolls in baseball. They're, according to the spot track chart I was looking at, they are presently third overall at like
yeah.
$114 million. But the thing is, if you like look at their contract situation for like the coming for next year, for example, they're already at like 100 and I believe $168 million
Oh man,
with just Judge, Stanton, Cole,
Soto.
assuming that Cole they pick up his option. Cole's got one of those weird things where he can opt out, but the Yankees can opt back in if they give him an extra year at the end of the deal, which I think they're
Interesting.
probably gonna do.
Yeah,
You got Rodon in there. You have LeMahieu and Aaron Hicks.
hmm
Like 6 or 7 guys there are basically accounting for $168 million of the Yankees' salary next year.
Oh yeah, and Soto. You said Soto,
No,
right?
no, no. I did not include Soto. Soto's a free
Oh,
agent. If they would
oh,
include
man,
Soto,
he's got to be like the best 1 year lease player that anyone has ever had. Honestly,
yeah, I don't know if he's the best, but one of them, and
yeah.
he is gonna probably cost another 40 on top of that. So
Oh yeah,
The Yankees.
I would keep him and Judge together if you want to win a World Series,
Oh,
Yankees. But
I forgot to include Stroman in that. Stroman accounts for like 20 million of that.
yeah,
So basically, you've got 3 starters, you know, a shaky infielder. You got the best outfielder in the game. You've got a DH who can maybe hit you some home runs if he doesn't, tear his hamstring walking up to the plate.
yes,
And
it does seem like that is his type of injury to get too. So
and a player who isn't even on the team anymore, and I don't even think Aaron Hicks is on a major league roster at the moment anywhere.
yeah, yeah,
And
I
then you
think
got
you're
to
right.
fill out the rest of the team. You have like
Yeah,
no bullpen in that, and you have Clint Holmes this year, who's going to be a free agent and as leading baseball in blown saves. So that they're gonna have to spend
oh,
some money on that. Like,
yeah,
I just think the real reason that they don't want Jason Dominguez up right now is because they need him at the league minimum for the next 3 years.
yeah, probably.
Like all of these guys outside of Stroman and Hicks are on the books through the next 3 years. So you're not
Yeah,
getting
and the
much
other
of a
thing
leap.
is too is like you're not guaranteed his performance in the pros either, and I think it's kind of a bird in the hand more than two in a bush. But I mean, batting well in AAA doesn't necessarily mean as doesn't translate to the majors. So
No, no. I mean, there are a lot of guys that are like quadruple A players.
yeah,
And obviously I think Jason Dominguez is a heck of a talented guy. I think he's only 21 years old. Like there's time for him to
yeah,
really
and
come up.
he'll get his shot too.
Yeah,
So
I think next year he's definitely up there, probably on opening day.
yeah,
I don't think Verdugo is not going to get re-signed, and
yeah, I would doubt it. So
I don't think Grisham's probably going to be there either. I think he's probably going to get non-tendered because he can't hit anything. He's great defensively, but he can't hit.
yeah. What do you think Gleyber Torres is going to be back next year? They've been
I
rumored
I
to be
don't.
trading him for so many years in a row now.
Well, he's a free agent, so I don't see him coming back.
Yeah.
They have Jazz for a couple more years. I don't know where they plan on playing Jazz next year,
Oh
but
yeah, I forgot about Jazz. They have a pretty good outfield if they leave him out there. So
they could leave him in the outfield. But Jazz has been playing some third base for the Yankees too. He could
yeah, I
play
saw that. I
second
saw him
base.
commit an error at third, but that's probably just because it's his.
I
He
don't think he's
doesn't play
played
that
third
often.
very much before coming to
Yeah,
the Yankees. So
yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Jazz is a kind of a wild card wherever they decide to play him, but
Yeah.
Jazz can play all over the place, and I'm sure he'll be happy to play wherever they need him to play.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, playing for the Pinstripes. I know there are a lot of other like really good teams in the league, but that's generally every kid at one point in time dreams about playing for the Yankees. So
Taylor was telling me that um, Derek Jeter was trying to get Jazz to the Yankees somehow. And I don't know how that happened because Jeter
yeah.
got fired from the Marlins earlier last year or two. So
Wait,
uh,
what was he doing on the Marlins?
he was running the Marlins for a while.
Oh wow, I did not know
He
that.
was
How did I
like
miss that?
their GM. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
David Sampson talked about how on his podcast he had A-Rod and Jeter pitted against each other, and Jeter was representing the group that bought the team for like $1.2 billion.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Interesting.
Jeter was there when like Stanton got traded to the Yankees, and um basically all their players got shipped out. That was when Real Muto got shipped out, and
Oh
Ozuna
yeah, I always
and
forgot that.
Yelich.
Man, if they would have held on to, they would have been a World Series team if they held on to those guys.
Yeah, they had a lot of talent down there, and I think the Ozuna trade was really like the only one that paid out
Yeah.
because that was the deal where they got Sandy and Zach Gallen,
Oh
and
yeah.
Zach
And then
Gallen got traded to the Diamondbacks for Jazz.
yeah. Okay, that's right. Man, Sandy Alcantara too. That's a great.
Can you believe it? St. Louis had, Sandy and Zach Gallen and gave them up in the same deal.
Yeah, that to me is crazy because they could use some better pitching, the Birds there. To
Yeah, I mean they literally signed the all old team this year. They signed
yeah.
Sin and Lance Lynn and
Lance Lynn, who looks tired just walking to the top of the mound.
Sonny Gray to his credit has been and
yeah.
solid this year.
Yeah, he has. The Lance Lynn one, that was a
Yeah.
head scratcher. I didn't even think he was gonna make a major league roster after the Dodgers, right? Or something like
He
that.
was
So,
traded to the Dodgers, but he was with the White Sox before that.
yeah.
And yeah, another White Sox player who just fell off the cliff.
Yeah, fell off the map in Tony's era too. So
And we do have some sad news this week. Our boy Rich Hill was DFA'd by the Red Sox.
no, Rich, no, Dick Mountain,
Yeah.
no.
Did get some good news on the Red Sox side though, that Trevor Story came back from his supposedly season-ending shoulder injury, which is pleasant news
Oh, awesome.
here.
Is he gonna be playing ball here down the stretch? Or
He started I believe yesterday, and he's playing today too. So I'm
oh, cool.
assuming he's going to be getting some games down the stretch. I don't know if they're going to play him every single day, but
Yeah.
at least the fact that he's healthy and back after that shoulder injury was brutal. I mean, I don't know if you remember, I was there at the game where he got hurt. That was the game.
Yeah.
That was the game in Anaheim.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just happy that he's back and able to play because he's had so many injury issues, just bad luck stuff since coming to the team.
I mean, shoulda, coulda, woulda, but I think you guys would be even closer to the wild card if he would have been able to stay healthy the whole year. So
Yeah, and Casas too.
yeah.
He was out for a good 2 months there. That
Yeah,
would
my
help.
long shot to win the World Series is the Sox now. So since I don't think the Mariners are going to get it done, so
Um, I think the Sox presently, the other screen has the
I think
actual
they're four
playoff.
games back. Last time I checked.
Well, according to ESPN, the Sox have a 10% chance to make the playoffs.
All right. See, it is a long shot. So
Yeah. All because the stupid Twinkies, Royals, and Guardians get to play the worst team in the last 125 years, like a dozen
yeah,
times each.
that's true.
Ah, that's unfair, man.
Hey man, luck of the draw. What is the percent chances for the Mariners to make the playoffs?
Hold
If
on.
you guys are at 10, then what are we at? 7?
4.8.
Oh man, that's bad. All
Yeah.
right.
This is how crazy the season has turned out. The
Yeah.
Detroit Tigers have a 5.1 chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at them. They're ahead of us.
They have the same record as you guys as of right now.
Yeah.
But
So I
the
think
White Sox have
whatever.
been playing. I mean, sorry, the White Sox. The Tigers have been on a bit of a run. They've kind of evened out a bit lately, but they were
Yeah.
basically sellers of the deadline. They didn't think they were going to do anything, and they gave up Jack Flaherty,
Yep.
and
But they held
now
on to
they're
my boy Riley Green in the outfield, who's having a pretty good year this year. So.
that he is. That he is. Do you have anything else you want to get off your chest in the last couple minutes of the show, Dave?
Oh yeah. So you brought up the worst team ever to play baseball. Since the formation of MLB, the 1962 New York Mets have the worst record in MLB history. So.
Yeah, that's the modern record that the White Sox are chasing down, and
Yeah. And they have to play above 500 ball in order to avoid that, by the way, too. So we'll
yeah,
see
the
what
White Sox
happens.
have 19 games left, and 9 of those would be all it takes to tie that record. So
Exactly.
I don't think that's
So,
happening. They are 1-9 in their last 10 games, and amazingly only are on a 2-game losing streak right now.
yeah. So I think they're going to break that record. The 2024 White Sox, welcome to the worst record in contemporary baseball history. So,
Well, I'm gonna say one little thing here. Crossing my fingers. My Oakland A's over the LA Angels prediction is holding true as of right now. The A's
oh,
have
yeah.
a 2.5-game lead on the Angels for the 4th spot in that division.
Oh,
So
let's go, Oakland. And
yeah,
dude, Shea Bangeliers is just hitting walk-offs right and left.
it's a Shea Bangeliers.
Yeah, that's his nickname in Oakland. They call him Bangeliers.
Well, I don't think we can end the show on a better note than that.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, it was nice talking to everybody today, and we'll see you guys next week.
All right, bye now.